Well, hello there folks, thanks for clicking on the video. I'm out in the actual bushcraft shelter for the actual weekend itself, but there's actually quite a lot of rain later on tonight, so I've actually gone for a slightly different plan. So tonight I'm going to be sleeping in the Onetigris Backwoods Bungalow, which I've only actually used a couple of times, so I'm really looking forward to actually getting it out and giving it a wee try out again. As I say, there's meant to be sort of heavy rain from about 1 o'clock in the morning all the way through till 6, so just want to make sure I've actually got sort of coverage, etc. So I'm just going to take my time, get this set up, and I'll catch you up with you in a wee second. Well, I just had an amazing experience just now. I'd heard that a family actually came up to the big shelter quite a lot, and they had a young son. And I've just actually met them just now, so I've just actually spent quite a bit of time actually chatting to them. So I've not really been doing an awful lot, but it's been so much fun. So the wee fella, he's only, I think he must only be about 4 years old, and he's just absolutely blown away by the shelter. So they come up quite a lot to actually sort of play around with it. But they've actually, every time they come up, they do a wee bit of work. So they were actually working on one of the chairs today, sort of helping out. But absolutely a lovely, lovely family, and it's just so great to sort of be able to speak to people about it, but to have somebody as young as that inspired. So he thinks it's a big spaceship, or something to do with that. So it's actually to do with a storybook that they actually read at home. So absolutely inspired, absolutely blown away by it. So nice to actually finally meet them, and finally meet the young fella. So it's funny because when it was actually at Christmas time, some friends had actually been up and they'd left some chocolate in there, and one of my friends had actually met the family when they were actually up there and ended up giving the wee fella the actual chocolates, who was just saying yes, thanks to that as well. So fantastic to see them. But I'm not going to get quite as much done as I was initially planning, just with spending so much time with them. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm actually going to have my first beer of the actual trip. So it's well earned. I said I love this shelter, but it is, you've got to play around with it and tweak it a little bit. So after I've done that, I'm going to go, and I've got one wee project that I'm wanting to do tonight. But the main reason I'm actually here, I'm wanting to try and make this a little bit more sort of self-reliant. So what I'm looking to actually do is plant potatoes and plant vegetables, etc. So I'm actually going to make a couple of pots over the weekend. So just when it actually comes to the right time, I'm going to be able to sort of plant potatoes and various other bits and bobs. I've got a friend helping me out and giving me advice on it. So really looking forward to it. So that's the main objective of the actual weekend itself, which will just be fantastic. The end game will be a case of sitting at my picnic table that I actually made, eating a meal out of wild edibles and the vegetables that I've actually grown at camp. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what's sort of pushing me forward with it. So cheers, I'm just going to have this, and then I get cracking with the first little project. Okay, so what I'm looking for, I'm going to be doing, I'm wanting to have a sort of carrier system that I can take so many bits of wood back to camp without having to sort of do multiple trips. So it's basically the actual pots for the actual potatoes themselves are going to be basically the walls, like as if it was a firewall around the actual fire pit. So again, I'll be able to show you that later. But what I'm looking for is this actually, I'm going to make up something itself. Just I've got some rope there, and it's just going to be an actual hold down system so that I can actually stack up quite a lot of wood, maybe just do 2 trips as opposed to anything. Now I am planning sort of building 2 pots, maybe 1 pot for potatoes and 1 pot for other vegetables. So as I said, super excited about this. But as I said, just hunting around for a little bit of wood just now, this I can actually start making, and finish that off, and then it's going to be a case of getting some dinner on. But it's going to be a gorgeous night. There's a nice little breeze there, so the midges are not too bad. Because I have to say, they've been killing me over the last few camping trips. Okay, so I'll try and see if I can find a bit of wood just now. nice and easy, nice and simple. So unfortunately that's the rain on. There wasn't any rain meant to be until sort of like 2 in the morning. But as I said, that's quite a heavy shower. So I'm just actually hunkering down in the actual shelter itself, so hopefully it stops. Haven't had any dinner yet. So I do have some food that I don't necessarily need to cook up, just in case it doesn't stop. But hopefully it doesn't stop the fun. Okay, so I'll catch up with you as soon as it's actually stopped raining. So I just had a fancy a wee fry up. But that little rain shower has just brought the midges out, so I'm getting absolutely eaten alive. So that was a little bit rushed. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this off and then I'll hook up with you. Well, that must be one of the most hastily cooked and eaten meals I think I've ever done at camp. As I said, the wind was meant to be sort of 15, 16 mile an hour winds tonight, so I was going to be fine. Rain coming in later on, sort of like 2 o'clock in the morning. But just with that little rain shower, the midges have come out in force. So I was getting eaten alive there, and I'm getting eaten alive at the moment. So I'm going to chill here for a wee bit, just have one beer, and then I might end up having to go into the actual shelter. But I do have my midge net. So don't know if any of you have ever camped in Scotland before, but this is the reality of it. They're just evil. I don't know if you can actually see them on the screen there. They're sort of swarming away behind the camera there. So as I said, just going to sit, hopefully get a chance to finish this, and then just head into the actual shelter for a little bit of reprieve. Hopefully the wind comes up as well. See you in a wee minute. Well, I think the midges have found it too cold and disappeared. Beautiful night, really, really nice. Cold, it is cold, but really nice. So I'm actually just going to chill, have one last beer before I actually head off to sleep, but this is why I do it. I'm actually going to do a wee bit of a guide round the actual shelter tomorrow as well. Just been asked a few questions about it just now on social media, and I absolutely love it. They were sort of asking for what were the good points and bad points, and in all honesty I can't see any bad points. But as I said, I'll go through it tomorrow and just do a wee bit of a walk round. Nah, just love it. Okay, this is me officially signing off for the night. I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. What can I say? That was an absolutely brilliant sleep. Really, really good. So it's actually almost 9. And again, usual story with when you are out doing this sort of things. I'm with the midges last night. I ended up in bed by about 10, half 10. So really, really good night. Perfectly dry. Only problem I found was with the configuration like this, I actually just left this open. I actually quite like looking out over the actual woodland and everything. So with the amount of rain that there was last night, there was a bit of a dip in the actual the awning there. So every time I got up, I just sort of had to sort of push it up to get the water out. But apart from that, really, really good night. So I'm going to go stretch the legs a wee bit before I actually start all the projects, get a wee bit of breakfast on. But woken up to a gorgeous morning, nicely. There is a little breeze, so hopefully that'll keep the little beasties away. So I was wanting to just give you a little tour of the actual camp itself, and also the shelter, because as I said, I'm just blown away by it. So it's actually the Onetigris Backwoods Bungalow, and it's the version 2. But as I said, let's have a little wander around it. So really, really smart. Now I actually left the awning up last night, which may be a mistake just because of the amount of rain that there actually was. So when I woke up, the actual roof itself was dipped down just with the amount of rain on it, just in the actual top there. But really, really smart. We'll go inside it in just a wee minute. But round the actual back, it actually has some tie-out points as well. So if you did have a tree behind you, you could extend it out. And a huge amount of ventilation across the actual bottom there, which I'll show you when we're actually inside it. So really smart. And basically all you do is it's just tied across there from tree to tree, or you can use sticks. And again, on the front I've actually just used sticks, but normally I use walking poles. And from the inside, excuse the mess, so I've got things like my OutXE charger, charging the GoPro batteries, and that's a solar one as well, so really smart. So you can see across the back there, just gives you that ventilation. And then I've got all my gear, and then it's just got the tie out, and it's also got tent light. But that was the view last night. So it's just beautiful wee shelter, really smart. And I don't often take a little camping chair, but it was quite nice actually having that as well. Okay, so that is the Onetigris Backwoods Bungalow 2. Time for breakfast. So I'm not going to do anything too fancy for breakfast this morning. It's really just a case I've got some bacon from last night's fry up, so just going to get that on just now. get some breakfast, because I really want to try and get building and get the projects actually started. I have to sit and look for a bit of bacon. So I'm just going to eat this and then just get cracking. Oh, bacon. Especially slightly burnt. Okay, so that's breakfast done, and I'm not going to lie, I've had a bit of a lazy morning. It's been absolutely lovely, just sort of taking all the scenery in and that. So I had a nice wee wander there. But it's time to get up into the woods and collect some materials just for the actual project itself. So let's get going. So that's breakfast done, and I've also had a wee chance to go out and play with the drone as well, which was really, really good. Hopefully that footage is just going to be absolutely brilliant. It's such a nice morning, but I have to say it's been quite a lazy morning, so just very, very relaxing, very chilled out. But it's time to start the project, so just going to get the saw and the knife and we'll head up off into the woods. Okay, so that's me got all the resources for the actual pot itself. Now, obviously I didn't video all of that because there is quite a lot of it. But it's more a case of what I'm just needing is basically 2 walls and obviously just the actual end pieces as well. So what I'm going to do, these bits have still got their branches on them, so I'm just actually going to process them just now and then just get cut into size. Now, again, from the point of view of all this is just deadfall wood. Okay, so this is all just trees that have actually fallen over. So it's not like I'm actually taking anything down whatsoever. So as I said, just going to start processing this just now. It is boiling. One thing is very important, just to keep hydrated. When you're doing these sort of jobs. Oh. Oh. Well, what can I say? That's been hard work. Right, I'm going to turn the camera around so you can actually see all what I've been doing. I've not videoed most of it. I've just been working away, just so I can actually crack on with it. But I'll just turn it around so you can see. So basically, as I said, it's just going to be like firewalls. So I'm going to make 2 pots. So it's just been a case of actually making the walls itself and then the actual pegs all the way along. Whew! I am shattered. Not as fit as I used to be now I've turned 50. So I'm just going to take the stuff over to the actual place where I'm going to plant it, where I'm going to put it. I want to lay it all out here just because this was the flattest bit of ground that I actually had available to me. Just so I could actually see that the wall measurements were going to be the same thickness and all that sort of things as well. Okay, so let's get cracking, get it all over there and get the pots up. Right, okay, so I'm going to place them here just to get a decent amount of sun. Like I said, just going to have pots side by side. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so that's going to be the general size. So now just start building it all up. Okay, so what I've basically done is, the reason I've laid it all out the way it was the fact that a certain thickness was on that one, a certain thickness on that one, and a certain thickness on that. But this is going to take quite a bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm running out a wee bit of memory on the actual camera there. So I'll hook up with you once I've actually got the first one built up. Okay, so there's one of them finished. So basically, as I said, it's just going to be for planting vegetables, potatoes. And I said the idea is that I'm going to be able to sort of have a meal with the food I've actually grown at camp and the sort of wild edibles. But I have to say that took quite a lot of time. Quite a lot of time. So really smart. So I've actually just got, there's the shelter just there. And I said just going to have the second box beside it. So maybe have one with potatoes and one with other things. Mixed vegetables. But I said, that has been probably one of the most fun things I've done for a very long time. Really enjoyed it. but I'm gonna have to call it quits. I've ended up speaking to so many people today while I've been out gathering resources. Kept on bumping into people I know out in the woods and out mountain biking and all that sort of things as well, so I've run out of time, unfortunately. But thoroughly enjoyable trip, really, really nice. The shelter last night, beautiful, really comfy sleep. The actual meal last night, and also a bit of bacon roll this morning, you can't go far wrong with. So thoroughly enjoyable. Okay, so thanks very, very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care then, bye bye.